every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to the Daily Women's Football Podcast, Beyond the Pitch, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. Today you have the pleasure of me, Catherine, and my Italian alter ego.
Yeah, that's me, Caterina.
Yeah, I did put in our group WhatsApp chat that I do have one favourite Italian word that I know how to say. Vino! Vino!
Do you know how to say, but do you also know how to drink it?
Yes.
I guess.
And
yes.
Wait, what else do I love? I also love cannoli.
Cannoli, okay.
Yeah. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Italian food. Because, so tonight we thought we would talk about the world of women's football media and how we kind of got started in it. Talk about the Lionesses squad announcement and the upcoming Nations League games. And we'll end with a review of the WSL games coming up this weekend. So, first of all, I ticked off a bucket list item yesterday.
No comment on that. I think none of us were jealous at all.
I got to go to Wembley and be in the press conference for the England squad announcement. And yeah, it was amazing. It was a bucket.
Yeah, so I think for context, maybe not everybody that is listening to the podcast knew about it, but maybe explain what happened yesterday at Wembley.
Oh, so yesterday the England squad was announced for the Nations League games. And then, of course, Serena does a press conference where journalists ask her questions and things. And I got to be there as press.
She doesn't always do it at Wembley, so it was really special.
No, it's not always at Wembley. It's quite often at St. George's Park, which would have been a pain for me to get to. So I'm so happy that it was at Wembley.
Yes. And I think maybe that's why they will either alternate, maybe sometimes doing here, sometimes doing there, because I think there will be more people, more journalists, more press, and especially in the women's game, where there is a lot of, I'm gonna say, kind of like new coming into the scene, not because they have not written before, but because finally there is a way for more women to actually be heard, be listened to. There's a lot of platforms that are giving more opportunities to women writers and journalists like yourself to actually go there, to listen to their point of view, to, without going down the more traditional way. And a lot of them are based around this area. So the South, London, but also the South. And so, definitely getting to Wembley is easier. But I want to hear all the gossip about it. Go on, tell me.
Oh, it was really, really nice. A lot of people who I knew were there. It was, I had a slightly embarrassing moment when, Anton from Sky Sports, he does a lot of the broadcast things. So he'll be on there.
Okay. Why
talks to camera.
I'm waiting for the embarrassing moment.
Okay, so we were sitting down for lunch, and he said, "Could I sit here?" Because I was sat at a table on my own. And then he said, "Hi, I'm Anton," and I just went, "I know." And then he said, "Oh, okay. Am I in trouble?" Like, no, I've seen you everywhere in things, and I didn't know what to say. That was embarrassing. And it was like I actually shouted, like, I know who you are. But it was really nice. There were quite a lot of people who I admire from the world of women's football media, like Susie Rack was there. Yeah, Girls on the Ball were there. Well, so Sophie was there. Rachel wasn't there. I have yet to meet Rachel. So, does she exist?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because the first time I met them, I had a moment of starstruck, a little moment. I've seen them a lot on TV. Sure. I've seen them in games, etc. And then last year, I was invited. Was it last year, 2024? Maybe actually at the end of 2023. Yeah, I was invited by a friend of mine to a Nike evening event that they did in South London. Yeah, and Beth Mead was there, Vicky
Ooh.
Jess, who, for anyone that doesn't know, she's the assistant coach of my football team, the Spurs. So
Yep.
Tottenham Hotspurs. And then I don't remember, there were a couple of more people. I don't remember her name, but the first referee wearing a hijab. I really
Oh.
I really don't remember her name, and I'm so sorry about her. And then the founder of Season magazine as well. So it was really great. And they were outside in the queue, just waiting with
Yeah.
everybody. And I just went there and I was like, you guys are real. They were like, yeah. So yeah, they do exist, both.
Both of them do exist. That is good to know. I've only met like Sophie once or twice, but they were really lovely, really friendly. And yeah, I had a similar moment of being starstruck. The first time I met Sophie was at England versus Republic of Ireland at Norwich, and I was sat like quite near the press area, and so I just shouted, "I love your stuff!" Very cool. That's what we've learned. We're both very cool people, and we find it easy to be around people we admire. So, quick question for you then. How did you get started? I'll talk about my story in a minute, but how did you get started with the podcast and going to these events and all that kind of stuff?
Oh my gosh. Briefly. So I used to do radio before anyway. I had a program on a local radio called Britalia. I'm just saying it out loud so that if someone is taking that name and copying it, it's like, no, mate, that was mine. Which was all about, chatting to Italian people and learning more Italian people living in England, actually, not just in London, and just learning more about who they are, what they like to do in Italy, what the traditions are, etc. Things that you cannot find, like on Google, on TripAdvisor and things like that. So, and then they would pick their own songs. So we would always play different Italian songs. It was nice. It was interesting. I missed that. And then I moved into football because I was tired of the fashion and the technology world. And then, I've always been when you work in fashion and I guess also in technology, and I used to work in partnerships, community building. So networking is part of what you do all the time. In fashion, especially, you always need to speak to people. So I started straight away to have a look at like, okay, football, what can I do? Where do I go? What events? What do I sign up to, etc. And then, as I mentioned many times, living in London, I'm very spoiled because a lot of things happen here. So it's just like,
and the rest of us have to travel and pay.
I know. I understand it. But I always say, I feel very lucky. And what happens is that the same thing used to happen in fashion, and it used to happen in technology. Also, when I used to run my own events, is that people sign up and then they don't turn up. And then sometimes you're there waiting for the waiting list and it doesn't happen. So because most of the events were in London, I would just turn up and just say like, well, if some people don't come, I'm here. I was supposed to be on the guest list, but I was just passing by. And then I started to get to a lot of events and I speak to people very, openly. And you start to know someone and then they put you into another group and then they put you into another group. You've just said it. You've just went to the press, to the press conference, not just like a networking event, so an event where you need to be invited. And pretty much the people you will see are always the same. For another 2 or 3 years, they will be very similar. Then it's going to change, because everything is changing, but it will be like that. So you start to know people, you start to go to the same place, and then people put you forward into different things. The podcast was actually Paige, one of our co-hosts. I met Paige in a couple of events, and she met Nick, and I don't remember who else. Anyway, 2 of the guys that came up with the whole idea. And then they were just like, we're looking for a group of women. And I was like, yeah, why not? I love it. I love to chat.
I'm a woman.
Yeah, I was like, I love to chat, etc., etc. And that's how I got here. Yeah, that's it. How did you get here?
Well, here because you invited me.
And how did you get to do all your? I mean, it's also good to say that not only we were in the same group, but the first thing you told me is the fact that you already had the blog where you were already writing. And
I
you were
mean,
writing, in a very professional way, not like I do, about women's football. So technical, but also you do your research, you know a lot about
mm,
it, etc. And so it was actually a fantastic thing that you came across us.
I mean, yeah, I just always liked writing, and then I had this blog just because I was a bit tired of a lot of the kind of traditional media narratives around the game, and I thought I want to put my own spin on it. But then after that, there was something on Instagram where someone with a website, I'm not sure if I can name them, what the rules are, so I'll just talk about this website. They had an article on there, and I just sent a DM and said, "Oh, I really disagree with this." I think I can't remember even what it was, but I was like, "I really disagree with this." And so they came back. The editor came back and just said, "Well, then why don't you write a response if you disagree? Then write a response to it." And so I did. And then they said, "Do you want to come and do some more?" And so I said yes. And now here we are. But I was thinking about, like, because I think quite a lot of people would obviously like to get involved in this world and be a part of it and have the amazing experiences. And I think my advice would just be say yes to things and talk to people. Like, if you have an opinion, say it. Be when journalists, when people in the women's football world talk on X and Blue Sky and Instagram, respond to them. Actually get involved. Don't just sit there on the sidelines kind of watching and going, "Oh, I wish that was me." Actually
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah, I just think it's this is oh my god, and another of those things that was like we can have the whole episode talking about just this, really. But
Yeah.
it's also for other women to just come up and say you can actually do it. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
remember the first time we podcasted, you were like, "Oh, I don't know. What am I gonna do? What am I?" It's
Mm-hmm.
like just fine, just talk. Yeah, we're probably not gonna have an audience of like 6,000, 7,000, or something like that every day. Not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there's gonna be people that will be like, do you know what? I like how this girl
Yeah.
speaks because I feel the same. Like I just love women's football because I love women's football. I don't have to know every single detail or the technicality and everything. I
Mm-hmm.
just love it. And that's the great thing about it. And that's the great mix about who we are, right? But what you said is exactly that. When you go out, just speak to people,
Yeah.
interact in a nice, constructive way.
Yeah.
That's the way you do. So even when you ask challenging questions, I remember you mentioned a couple of times in our group, um, like during the press
Mm-hmm.
conferences or something, you do it, but not in a nasty way. You do it as a way to gain some good insight, some good knowledge. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what is important. I mean, that's the job of a journalist, right? If that's what you want to
Yeah.
do, or a content creator, is to be challenging, but in a nice way, and is to be interesting and entertaining. If you just say everything that everybody else says, and it's not. I love Susie for that reason. It's true that she's been having a good platform for quite a while. She's well known now, etc. But she's never shy of really,
No, that's
really
true.
stating her opinion. Not when you see her live and when she's asking question, not when she's writing stuff, not when she's interacting on the different platform and replying to people. She's like, that's what I think. That is it. You can comment, but that's what I think. And I love that.
No, that's a very good point, and I agree.
Yeah. Yes.
The Global Sports Podcast Network is changing the face of football podcasts with dedicated daily content for every Premier League team, women's football, fantasy football, and a daily Premier League wrap-up broadcast in 5 different languages. This is your one-stop shop for your daily football fix. Find GSPN wherever you find your usual podcasts. Oh, sorry, could you hear that?
What was that?
No, my cat just jumped onto the bed and made a really loud noise.
No.
Sorry, listeners.
I don't think I didn't hear anything, so probably
Okay, they
not others as
probably, so
well.
just ignore that you heard, listeners. We're a very professional outfit here.
Now,
As
why do I see on your list of things to chat about Spurs? What do we need to say about Spurs? Of the royal visit that we are gonna have this week?
No, oh no, that was on my list just to mention that that was my first press experience at a match with Spurs United.
Oh my God! Oh,
Yeah.
in our beautiful stadium.
It was, to be fair, it was beautiful, and the press areas are lovely. And apparently, it's not always like that. Everyone I was talking to there was like, "Yeah, don't expect this anywhere else. Don't expect it to be this nice."
Oh, I am so happy to hear that.
Yeah, and there was a lovely, like a really nice buffet, and everyone there was like, "No, no, you don't get this at Meadow Park. You know, you don't get this at Meadow Park." And I was
Oh,
like, fair enough. Okay, I won't expect this at Meadow Park then.
nice. I'm
Yeah,
glad that I'm glad to
and
hear that.
I was very good when the game was happening at remaining objective. The only time I broke that and I actually had to like respond was when Elatoon hit the bar, and I just kind of went. But the guy next to me was an Arsenal fan, so that was okay.
Yeah, but also it could have been that you were just excited about the game.
That's
Just
true.
like, oh
That is true.
wow, what a miss.
That is true. Anyway, so today
Anyway,
we're also going to talk about the Lionesses squad. Should I quickly run through it?
yeah,
To
go
remind
on,
us?
go on.
Okay, so this is for Portugal on the 21st of Feb and Spain on the 26th. I say
Yep.
that. Yeah. Let me actually just find it. So, goalkeepers: Mary Earps, Hannah Hampton, Anna Morehouse. Woohoo! I love Anna Morehouse. Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Neve Charles, Maya Letitia, Esme Morgan, Millie Turner, Leah Williamson, Lotte Wuben Moy. And then Laura Blinkild Brown is back again after her very first call up in the last and debut for England. Grace Clinton, Ruby Mace is also back after her first debut. Her debut. Jess Park, Ella Toon, Kira Walsh. Forwards, we have Aggie Beaver Jones, Lauren James, Beth Mead, Jess Naz, Alessia Russo, and Nikita Paris. Woohoo! I am so happy for Nikita, but can I just say, I think she's dealt with not being included for 2 years in the perfect way. I think she's gone away. She's changed teams because at United, I always felt a bit like she was a big fish, but in a big pond. And kind of, she often wasn't starting in the big games. She didn't, in the big games, like the FA Cup final, she didn't start in the FA Cup final. Whereas she's gone to Brighton, where they kind of build a team around her, and she is that big fish. And I think that was great. And then she's always been very respectful. She hasn't done interviews, talking about, oh, I should have been called up, or suddenly everything's bad. I think she's just dealt with it perfectly. Anyway, your thoughts on the squad?
Oh, I mean, it's one of the squad that you. Okay, of course, I am a bit biased. That's true, but it's
Beth
one
England?
of
Is that what you're going to say?
yeah. But it's look. I went to an evening, and
Kate's
rainbow
holding
lace,
up bits of
the rainbow laces gifted me some rainbow laces. I'm very excited. Anyway, no, I'm very biased about it, obviously. But you read it and you read all these names, and you just think, aren't all the teams just terrified about us when they read the names, and they just think like, okay, how do you win against that? So that's my thought. I'm very excited. I was very excited for Nikita to be back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is so much talent anyway in England. So yeah, but it's nice to see her back. Be nice for her to go to the Euro. Was she crucial? Maybe not in winning the 2022, but she was a big element of it. So, I mean, very important, I think. Experienced player. She's played it before. She's won it before. She's got a winning mentality. Very important. Great to see a couple of people back from injury. That's really, really nice to see them. I hope they're going to be, yeah, and LJ as well.
Yep.
Nice to see them. I have a special soft spot for LJ. I just think she is one of those players that can really, really make a huge difference. Sometimes bad and sometimes
I actually
not.
had an intense daydream about LJ once because a house was on fire and she was just walking through it like, yeah. Because because she's so laid back. And she was just walking through, and it was like the flames were bouncing off her because she was just like, yeah.
I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see her playing at Chelsea and especially at Stamford Bridge when you can watch her from above, not just from this side, and you really able, as I say many times, when you watch it on TV, your understanding of the game cannot be the same because you only watch a certain bit. When you watch it live, you just see how she moves, how she reads the game, how she anticipates it. I mean, if she's on it, that is it. If she's on it, that is it. And also, I had this argument with a friend of mine, and I chatted about it when we had the transfer episode as well about Kira Walsh. I absolutely love her. I think she's an incredible player and
me too.
Very, very pivotal, etc. So no, I think the squad is great. Well, I'll be there on the 26th anyway, of course. So I guess we'll find out later. I tell you what, I'm very excited about. I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, the whole Spain game is great because it's like, the champions of the world meeting the champions of Europe.
Time for revenge.
Like, that massive things all around, etc.
All we want is blood. It's revenge.
Okay, I don't want blood, but maybe revenge. But I told you, anyway, never mind. No, this is for another day. But I'm also very excited about the games happening actually after in April against Belgium.
Yeah,
I think it will be quite. I'm borderline. I was borderline considering going to Belgium actually.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what the three Lionesses are going to do. They have they have a traveling partner now that they organize really good like trips, etc. So it'd be quite excited. Anyway, yeah. Very excited about the squad and very much looking forward to seeing the Lionesses back.
Yeah, me too. It was quite interesting because obviously being in the press conference yesterday, I listened to every word Serena said and I was like staring like this. And she looked at me once and I swear, because I was just so happy to be in the room, I was smiling the whole time and she kept looking at me and she must have thought that I was smiling like at her when they were asking like difficult questions because I was just like sitting there just like
I don't think so. I think she probably has other things to think about, and I don't know.
Probably
she's Dutch, so she's probably like, okay, you want to laugh, you laugh. I don't care.
Yeah, but no, they asked her about Beth England, and I mean, she's a funny one for me. I could see it from both sides why she could have been called up, but also why she wasn't. My argument is always just who do you take out of the squad to put someone else in? And I feel like all of the forwards that we've got are kind of bringing something special, unique. People talk online about Jess Naz, and I just say, having seen her, it's again the thing of the TV versus actually being there. Having seen her speed, her pace, and her ability to get back, because she has that pace, she really helps out the defense and tracks back. I think and obviously Serena agrees because she played her against the USA and started her, sees her as really important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Beth is our captain and I love her, but I don't think the team will miss her. Sorry, Beth. I mean, they will miss her personally, probably, but on the field, I think the squad is pretty solid. So, yeah, no complaints in there. Here at Global Sport Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out as the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Okay, last topic of the day, WSL games, the last round before the international break. Let me run through them. Man United v Crystal Palace. Come on, United. Chelsea.
Come on, Eagles!
Chelsea v Everton. West Ham v Brighton. Leicester v Aston Villa. Man City, Liverpool, and another game that we don't need to talk about. Arsenal Spurs.
Is it? No way. Oh, I didn't even know.
On the
Oh,
16th
really? Oh,
at the
there's a lot.
Emirates Stadium.
I'm working on that day. I
Oh.
won't be able to go and watch. Yeah, I am. I am actually. On a serious note, I'm working on Sunday. Tottenham is playing at home, so I will be working at the stadium. But yeah, last year it was great atmosphere. We got beaten, but it was great atmosphere.
I also have a feeling you're going to get beaten again.
Yeah, all right.
Looking at the form.
I'm thinking, the game where I would want to go, where I actually, if I had to pick a game to go and watch, it would have to be City Liverpool. It have to be City Liverpool.
No, I agree with that, actually.
But also, actually, West Ham and Brighton could be an interesting game, huh? Actually,
Leicester and Aston Villa isn't a bad game.
Actually,
yeah, actually. I mean, unfortunately, I actually have a soft spot for Crystal Palace, but I do think United will win, especially being at home, the defensive form that we're in. Yeah, I just see that being a United win. I think it'll be close and it'll be a tough game, but United will win. City, I think, will win, will beat Liverpool. I'm sorry. I do think Arsenal will win.
Okay.
But the other, and Chelsea obviously are going to win. But the others, those other two, are quite like up in the air, 50-50.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the championship also is quite exciting this weekend. There's obviously the first the first 6 or 7 teams are all there and within very 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 few points, and of course they all want to come up to the WSL.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is quite exciting as well. So just a recap: Durham is playing Blackburn Rovers. Bristol is playing Southampton, Birmingham City is playing Sheffield, London City is playing Sunderland, and Portsmouth is playing Charlton. If I had to pick one, well, obviously London, the Lionesses are always my favorite, very, very, very soft spot in there. And it's going to have to be City, Birmingham, Sheffield.
Oh, because Birmingham are still top, aren't they? And London City are second. But it's very close.
It's very close. It's only 1 point.
Yeah.
Let's remember that the City Lionesses have 1 game in hand. So realistically, if they would have played the 13th game and won, they would be the one leading. They've won the past 3 games. So they've been...
And they strengthened in January, didn't they?
Come again?
They strengthened in January as well, didn't they? They brought players in.
Yeah, they did. But it also depends who you're meeting, right? It's like sometimes you have like 3 or 4 different and very difficult games, and then you have easier games, etc. But yeah, they did. So it's there. Everybody's like 23, 26, 21. So it's there. A couple of game in hands. It's a big battle. It's very exciting to see that as well. I'm so grateful to YouTube for televising a lot of the games as well, and for people to be able to just really watch them, even if they're not there. It's fantastic.
Me too. Thank you, YouTube, and thank you, Championship. Okay, I think that's all we have time for, but we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Oh, wait. I must be reminded, where can people find you?
In what way? I don't want anyone to stalk me, mate.
No, I mean like on.
So on Sunday, we'll be working at the stadium. If you're coming to Tottenham, that's where you can find me. You can have a look at our Instagram, which is GSPN Women's, and we often tag each other, etc. But my Instagram is Kate_M_SH. Maybe we can put it in the show descriptions. Yeah. But also, come back next week when, we will chat about the results of the weekend, and we will see,
if I'm right,
what color North London is. Yeah.
Oh, and just before we go as well, a shout out, I have a new project where I've been talking talking about this for a while, but basically it's a page that is supposed to be a bit like Humans of New York, but just with women's football fans, because I'm scared that we're going to kind of continue down this road and talk a lot about the figures and the numbers, but lose the individual stories. That is called People of Wofo on Instagram. So give us a shout.
Or Wofo for our American friends.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you. Bye from me.
Ciao.